just the question, in this world, of course, there are a lot of people who start a company and then fail for whatever reason. Would they benefit from your program as well?
It depends on what they've been through and why they're failing, I guess. You know, we take every type of company and person you can imagine. There's no, you know, so we focus the types of companies we take down to a certain subset of the market where we feel we can add value. So if you look at our mentor list, if you go to techstars.org/mentors, you'll see all the different mentors we have. And if you look through them, there aren't any real life science guys, there aren't any real clean tech guys, and that's what does. Software people, B2B, B2C, internet, lots of mostly internet, mobile people. That's what we focus on. So if they've started stuff in that space and they haven't succeeded, we have plenty of people who have tried and failed and have come through the program. So it's not really structured by whether you've succeeded or failed before. It's really structured on whether we think we can help you be successful and we like you and your business.
You mentioned first-time entrepreneurs. Is that without regard to age? Because
Absolutely.
We have scientists out there that have, that are senior and have never opened their own shop before.
Yep. Yeah. We. I mean, originally it started out much younger. You know, the first class, we've been doing this for the 4th year we're doing this. We started in Boulder. We ran it for 2 years in Boulder, learning what didn't work. And then we expanded to Boston last year. We're expanding to Seattle this year. And next year we'll expand to the winter course. So we've run 40 people, 40 companies through it. Their age ranges have been from, I think 20 is probably the youngest person that's been through the program. Which caused all sorts of alcohol in the fridge problems. And I think the oldest was 52, but the average age last year, as I think I said before, was about 28, 29, and Boulder's has got successively older. Started out around 22, 26, and then 30. And our group this year, we're just about to kick off our program in 2 weeks, and our group this year, I haven't done the math yet, but I think it's about the same as last year. But absolutely no age distinctions. What we find is that, you know, I don't engineer the companies in terms of the selection process. I don't engineer the selection process to service certain demographics, but I certainly pay attention when, you know, somebody, say you're 29, right? When somebody like yourself shows up and with a great idea, and you've been around the block, but haven't started a company before, that's an interesting person to have in the mix. So, you know, statistically speaking, most of the applicants are young. You know, a lot of them are college students. We don't take college students. Some of them are this year I got a bunch of high school students. You know, I'm a 15-year-old kid in Idaho, and my partner's a 14-year-old guy in Singapore. Can we come? Not legally, not without me going to jail for national kidnapping. And the selection process is pretty rigorous. We get about 300 applications for each program, which are 10 spots. So our acceptance rate is pretty low, but all ages.
So what are the lessons learned?
Yeah, the question is about the international companies that apply because they're coming from other countries. The visa,
the business models may be different to some extent, and then you have the legal and the regulatory issues that you have to deal with.
Yep. So the other business models different, and
I mean, are you training them in a U.S. model, or are you training them in a global model or some hybrid?
We're not that convinced that the question is whether there's a global model or an international model or a local model, U.S.-based model that we're training them in. These are almost uniformly online businesses, so we don't think there's that big of a difference other than certain language and cultural taboos and tweaks. So the only thing, we don't worry about that. You know, we see in most of the businesses, actually, here's a better answer to the question. Most of the businesses that are international, it seem to have a local flair to them. Like I had a couple of applications this year. One guy was doing a portal business in, I don't know, Argentina or Brazil. And it's actually a market that needs that business, but it's not something that we have an expertise in, the local market, so we won't take that business. even though it might be a very successful business. I mean, we reject plenty of companies that are very successful. That's just part of the process. So the visa problem is a freaking pain in the ass. And the United States Immigration and Naturalization Service needs to fix the visa program. We were strong backers of the startup visa program. If you haven't, startupvisa.org or something like that, you can Google it. And basically, we want to tell the government to stop kicking out people who create businesses and jobs. So, for example, in Boulder last summer, we had one Canadian company, and that at the end of the program had commitments to raise about $800,000 in institutional steam, and the government wouldn't let them stay. And they weren't going to incorporate as a U.S. corporation, set up U.S. bank accounts, build a business in Colorado or San Francisco, I don't remember if they had chosen yet, and hire a bunch of people and build a very cool business. A business that had already been running for 10 years as an open source project, and they were commercializing it, by the way. And the government wouldn't let them stay, so they're stuck up in Canada. They can't get down. They were able to close the money, and now they've got a U.S. bank account, but their company's Canadian, and they're hiring people in Canada. We had a company founded by a guy in the UK. He wrapped up the program. He was here on a vacation visa, so he had 89 days. 90-day visa. The program is 89 days. So you had to fly in on the red eye the morning of program orientation, and then you had to fly out on the morning after he presented, and back to the UK. And he raised 1.2 from institutional, and they still haven't been able to get him back into the country. So we've got to fix the stupid startup visa problem. There's a lot of really sharp people all over the world. I get great applications from Egypt, Singapore, Australia, Canada certainly. So a lot of people